Hey guys, thanks for checking out the podcast. Before we get started, I want to remind you about the very cool bucket list trip I am doing in 2026, the Smitty Learns Irish podcast, where I'm going to do my bucket list, hike Ireland for a year, learn about Irish history, town by town, through the mouths of the pub owners and regulars. Because what's a better way to learn about something you love than to experience it yourself? Patreon.com/we3smiths, only $3 a month, and thanks for checking it out. And welcome to the Rock Radar. My name is Smitty from the What the Hell Everything podcast, another stoner reaction, and my first reaction, although not my first listen, to Billy Strings. Billy Strings is an artist that I've been kicking around with, really doing reaction videos to, because I love the guy. I've only listened to a handful of songs. I think one album I may have heard and was really ignorant of for a long time, even though the same Northern Michigan stomping grounds. Speaking of, before we get to the reaction, shout out to my sponsor, Northern Michigan, Sutton's Bay. Right along the M22 drive is where you're going to find M22 in Sutton's Bay. A nice little quaint, comfortable spot in one of the coolest scenery, Four Seasons destinations that you've never heard of before, that Billy Strings could tell you about 100%. And the link is in the description for M22 in. You're looking for a place to stay while you're here, hey, check it out. Billy fucking Strings, man. Yeah, first thing I heard was a couple years ago, and it was the viral video of Dust in the Baggie that I think was actually in Traverse City. And I'm like, this is fantastic. And I think I watched a Red Rocks live set. I think I listened to an album. And I'm like, man, I really need to bring Billy Strings to the channel, because I haven't listened to it. And I actually stopped myself from listening and going down at rabbit holes, because I was like, man, I should totally do it on the Rock Radar. And thanks to Barbara for the request, who said, I'd love to see you react to a new video just released a couple days ago by Billy Strings. There's no virtuoso guitar work, no extended psychedelic solo, just a simple tune done in the old talking blues style, along with funny lyrics and a hilarious cartoon video based on a true story about two of Billy's favorite things, fishing and weed. All right, so here's a link to catch and release. Thank you, Barbara. Let's check it out. I'm always impressed by the brilliance of Billy Strings. I don't know. I'm sure there are other shredding bluegrass players. From what I've heard of Billy Strings so far, seem like this guy is fucking capable of anything. I loved the way that he turns bluegrass into metal, in a way, with like heavy metal structures within a bluegrass song. I don't know if I've ever heard that like that before. And his fucking virtuoso guitar player. So, and I know he started in metal. I know this. So, catch and release. Billy Strings.
Well, I woke up this morning about 4:15, grabbed my cap and bag and slipped out the door, hooked up my tractor to the U-Haul hitch, went and picked up Vince, and we headed out to peep the sitch. Figured we'd try to get into some smallies in the Clearwater.
You guys, I know this. I grew up with rock and roll and metal and things like that, but this style of music is so ingrained in my being, and like the community that I'm from. It is such like a bluegrass hippie sort of communal vibe in the bustling metropolis of Rapid City, Michigan that I'm from. I grew up with music like this. I was surrounded by music like this, and it just fucking feels like home. You know what I mean?
Praying there wasn't nothing to get snagged up on. So we're cruising somewhere near Livingston. Had some herb in my bowl and I lit it again. I was jabbered at the jaw and crimson in the eye. On the way to Dale Hollow, I was floating like a butterfly. Then I got stung by a bee.
Oh, no.
Had to squeeze the mustard, Uncle Vinny said, wow. Then I saw the lights flash and my heart sank down. And the man strolled up with a real nice lean. And I rolled down my window and he smelled my weed. He said, I'm Officer Looper, the Tennessee State Trooper, and I'll take your license and your registration and your grass. I guess it was only a matter of time. He said, where you heading? I said, to catch some bass. He said, step out under my magnifying glass. He made me watch his fingers and touch my nose. And then he made me count to 30, but then he let me go.
That's because you can do all the same shit on weed. It ain't like drinking. I am very pro marijuana reform and legalization and things. Check out the 420 break and all this stuff on the other podcasts. But anyway, shut up, Smitty.
Day. I reckon it was a little catch and release. So that there's my story, and I want you to know, if you're gonna go fishing, you better take her slow. Better look both ways and keep her in line. Let this be a lesson to you and your partners in crime. Always watch your 6 and 9. Don't roll through the stop sign. You don't always need to make the verses rhyme. Don't be mixing liquor with your wine. If you feel so inclined, keep me in mind. And by the way, only break one law at a time.
It's a fucking life lesson. Just break one law at a time. As soon as you just start mixing and matching, you're fucked. Yeah. Man, Billy fucking Strings. Every time I hear him, it's always just exceptional. Even just a simple, slow, laid-back fucking story right there that was funny and catchy and like... the perfect 2-minute song. That was like honestly one of the most perfect fucking 2-minute songs where you're just like, and could have been way longer. Man, I wonder if there's like an extended edition, like a Lord of the Rings version of Catch and Release, you know, where you go into fucking details and stuff. Anyway, that was really fun. And more Billy Strings. You request something. I don't know if won't know if I've heard it or not. So it's going to be kind of like a trial, an error, probably. Maybe a lot of errors. Who knows? I don't research very well. As some commenters will attest to. That being said, hey, you like my thoughts on this? You want to hear my thoughts on other things? Got the What the Hell Everything podcast that live streams on Patreon for $3 a month. And if I start going down rabbit holes with Billy Strings, which is very possible, a large portion of that will be on Patreon. Early access, exclusive access, all sorts of stuff. So, hey, that's it for me. Check out all my other stuff because I got a lot. Thanks.
What the hell, everything?